So if you stay to the end for the Q&A, there'll be a special offer for everyone. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm Dr. Natasha Welch. I'm the owner and founder of ABRAZASKINSTUDIO. 2 locations, one in Atlanta and the other one is in Silver Spring, Maryland, just right outside of the DC line. I also found my own skincare line called ABRAZASKINCARE.com. And of course, owner, founder of Abraza Skin Institute, where I teach other people like myself how to come into this industry. What influenced me there is I've been for years a visiting professor at nursing schools. I won't name them. They're probably looking for me. But nonetheless, I've been a visiting professor, and it kind of fell on my lap that one of my students Googled and found out this is what I do and said, hey, can you teach me? And I did. And from there, I think it became very passionate to help small indies like myself come into the medical spa industry. And it's been successful. I have no complaints, I guess. My students are very happy, and many of them are well on their way into starting their own practices or have their own practices. So I share this slide here. This is very interesting, right? You're seeing like dental stuff. Well, this is how I started this $10,000 budget practice with no brick and mortar. It hit me one day. Geez, I met a dentist at a seminar I went to and thought about it like, oh, really? You do Botox in the evenings? And it just fell upon me the thought that, why can't I start Abraza within someone else's practice here in Maryland? Because right now it's not in my budget to get things started the way I did in Atlanta. So my dentist, going back like 20 years when I was in grad school, I bumped into him at my undergrad homecoming. He also attended my alma mater. So nonetheless, I presented to him with the idea of me setting up in his practice and growing my aesthetics practice. In change, we can cross market. He'll probably grab my clients because he does cosmetic dentistry, and vice versa, I'll grab his clients. He says, well, you know, I'm close to retirement, but I'm closed 4 days out of the week. Well, bingo. So I started up in a dental practice. And at first, I have to give full disclosure. It's sad that I don't have pictures of the room. However, this practice was like state of the art back in 97 when I was in grad school. Well, guess what? It looks the same way. So it no longer looks state of the art. However, I said to myself, I'll make it happen. So this is a picture of one of the counters in one of the treatment rooms there at his office. And I used to take a picture of the counter because I would move everything off, take it into another room, and I would put like all spa type stuff, and I would make this dental room look and feel like Abraza. So let's talk about this budget. This is pretty much what I did in a nutshell. I spent about $2,000 to get my microneedle and a couple of needle heads for my micro stamper. I spent $1,000 on my centrifuge and a couple of tubes to get going for PRP. I do hair restoration and vampire facial, which is the PRP facial. I spent $1,000 from Allergan on Botox, and I think I bought 1 box of filler. So in all, I spent $1,000 with them. I spent $850 in hydrofacial machine and hydrofacial supplies. So this is pretty interesting because I had already owned a hydrofacial machine in Atlanta. So the company will probably get mad at this, but I found a used hydrofacial for more than less the price of a regular one. So that price there on $850 included my down payment to get my my monthly payment started and the supplies to get the machine moving. Then for my skincare line that I chose, I spent about $2,500. They had a high opening order, $2,500 to get that started because I had to sell skincare products. Then $500 in malpractice insurance. As a nurse practitioner, I needed that. Now, I'm a little special because in the state of Maryland, I don't need a physician collaborator as a nurse practitioner. So I didn't have to spend money paying a medical director or paying for physician collaboration like I do in Georgia. Then My rent, and I'll talk about that in the next slide, how I said no brick and mortar. I'll tell you, it was not my place, but I'll tell you how I did that. So on average, the rent will be like $135. So initially I started 4 days a week, and I said those 4 days is when I'm going to concentrate my clients. And then I grew, brought on a team member, and we would do the same amount of days every week. Okay. $200 on a website. Yes, I did. I know about a lot of people. When I first started my Atlanta location, I spent like $3,000 on, to me, what was a worthless website. It had no SEO. Learned my lesson with people who say they can do websites. But nonetheless, then I went into another big national company that just highway robbery, I tell people, in terms of building a website and managing it. So I lost lots of money, which I share with people that I talk to about getting their own practice started. So whole nother webinar. But nonetheless, I went the cheap route. I found someone who could throw up a simple website for me, $200, $500 on decorative supplies, my fluffy blanket I had, my air diffuser, containers to hold all of my products, or Medline supplies. That was one of my suppliers, where I ordered needles, syringes, gauze, face masks, gowns, protective gowns, whatever it was, dental bibs, or everything I would need, gloves, sharp box, whatever it was, ordered it all up. Matter of fact, I didn't need sharp boxes because he had sharp boxes, but I was kind and, you know, shared the wealth on that piece. Then there's this 1,300, which is the leftovers. That was my business cards, all of my marketing collaterals. I had to get brochures made for my hair restoration, brochures made for hydrofacial. Actually, I got to purchase those. But any other service for my own brochures, print work, folders, bags, anything that fell in that realm. I already have my uniforms and that sort of thing. But the 1,300 was just like everything else you can think of. I say I probably spent this somewhere. There was always an expense, right? So I can say I spent it. Then this is the big piece, right? Social media is FREE in terms of marketing your business. And I took full court advantage of that. So I do urge people to use that platform. Now, Google ads cost, Facebook ads cost. So in that miscellaneous came those type of advertisements to kind of put me out there. So people knew I'm hidden within this dental practice. And let me tell you, yes, I know of great, awesome surgeons who have fantastic offices and a great medical spa in the back room. But I made that room look just as nice as those medical spas. Most of all, my clients like the fact that I taught them. I took time with them. It was never rushed. They know that this was an NP coming to them with 21 years of experience in teaching and preventative medicine. And that's what I gave them. I poured in my best. And what came as a result? 5-star reviews. So you can Google, and you'll always see 5-star reviews for Abraza, whether it's in Maryland or whether it's here. And no, I don't twist people's arms for that. That is just, I guess that's just good business. I try my best to really deliver. To me, that's priceless. There's no money on that. Okay. So let's talk about the brick and mortar plan, the pay-as-you-go method. That's what I called it. So what I did was I said to the dentist, I said, listen, I don't have money to pay your rent. I don't even know who's going to be my client here. So can I just pay you a percentage of the day up to $45 a day? And he said, yes, I really want to see you grow. No one did this for me. It's so awesome that you brought up this idea. I wish I had this idea 30 years ago, he said. And at this point, I really want to pay it forward. So yeah, let's do it. So my point of sale, at the end of my 4 days, I would take a screenshot of everything I made. I was totally transparent with him, send him a copy and pay him the percentage. The max was at $45 a day. Okay. So to me, you can't really beat that, right? So I was probably spending, let's go back here, $135 a week if I did those days those amount of days, those 3 days, because actually I didn't do the whole 4, right? And so it went from 1 week of 3 to 4 days, possibly, and then every week. That is what we did. And that's how we got our rent paid. So I didn't have to worry about the light, the gas, the web, the Wi-Fi, the this, that. I just found someone that believed that they can really help someone take them to the next level. And trust me, these providers are out there. Okay, that I can promise you, they are out there. So definitely start looking. I tell people, start looking for them. They are out there. And it's just up to you to really put your best sales pitch forward, I tell people. Okay, we're going to go into Q&A, but let me just introduce this to you. This is the Med Spa Business Builder. It is my online course, and I love the fact that I launched this online. I do consultant work helping other providers do what I do in terms of marketing. When I opened my door the first day, I made over $1,000, and I made sure that month everyone was lined up. Another little secret about me, I have owned businesses before. Okay, other than unknown secret, in the healthcare field, I became a guru at starting programs from the ground. I'm talking about multi-million-dollar programs and growing it. And I guess I built a reputation on being successful at it. So like one physician told me years ago, he said, you're a millionaire, you just don't know it. Instead of making this place wealthier, you need to go out on your own. So here I am today. And I want to share this information because I couldn't possibly service millions and millions of people. And I want to start this movement in skincare. I tell people, well, people just know that this is something that should be part of life as far as I'm concerned. So this is my online class where it's a self-paced program. It used to be live. However, one day live wasn't working and people needed more time and so forth, so on. So it's self-paced. It's in a PowerPoint and webinar, like interactive format like this. And then weekly, I have group live weekly group meetings where everyone's faces are there. You can black your face out if you want to, but there's Q&A. There's a private Facebook group for ongoing support, and I really get you going. I'm going to tell you how I did it. I don't hold anything back. What didn't work, we're not to waste your money. Where I spent thousands and wasted my time with, which vendors were not, I find friendly. It's full disclosure to everyone that I work with, just to put it out there. It's not about just telling people what's on the slides, but it's giving them the real meat. I also talk about if you're not a physician, how do you get these relationships with these medical directors or physician collaborators? I mean, people just think it's just straight pay. No, you have to do what works best for you. So these are things I discuss, as well as marketing strategies. The biggest thing. I teach you how to have your clients meet you in a rabbit hole. Okay, because that's how it is today. Everyone doesn't have the big sign out on the street. Everyone doesn't have the big marquee. Okay, so the Med Spa Business Builder, and I don't know what just happened. There we go. There's your savings for those who stay this long. I don't want to hold people up. You know, I don't feel like I have to hold you hostage for a Q&A session. But nonetheless, there it is. I'll also send it out to you in an email. If you want, you can email me at info@ABRAZASKINSTUDIO. With your email, say, hey, send me more information. Where do I find that class? If you go to ABRAZASKINSTUDIO at teachable.com, you can find the course there. And use the code April2 and you save $250 off the Med Spa Business Builder. I also do live classes once a month here in Atlanta, and we also do them in Maryland, just so you know that. Okay, so